basically it's a little tour or a history of my practice coming up to the from about, I started about 30 years ago, coming up now to the dizzy heights of the MFA and the PhD. So it's a kind of a rough introduction as to how I got into it. It started as a hobby. I don't know, something happened to text there, it says 30 years ago. But then it got too expensive. When it got too expensive, I was told either make a living out of it, or by my wife at the time, make a living out of it or forget about it. So you had to be making it worthwhile. So what I did, I applied for a staff position in the Drogheda Independent, which is part of the independent group. I got the job. After about 3 years working with them, I started my own company called Newspics. And I photographed literally everything. So you know yourself with local newspapers or that sort of community sort of based newspaper, you're photographing every sort of subject, whether it be funerals, social parties, you know, handing over checks, all that sort of rubbish. But you do get some lovely stuff like the sport, and particularly went into the sport and enjoyed it. But what I found about it was that we were basically just recording local history. And when you put it into context, it's a very important part of community life. And when I say community, I was going from, say, north of County Louth right down to North County Dublin, which would be, it wouldn't be the huge area, it wouldn't be as big as Cork, but it would have quite a wide range of diverse peoples and communities. So this is just a sample of some of the images so you get from literally, you know, St. Patrick's Day, you know, kids out enjoying the sun. This is a fellow called Dermot O'Brien, I don't know if you've ever heard of him. No? No. Very famous RD musician. He was the captain of the Louth team when they won the All-Ireland. And he died recently. So it's kind of the number of times that you get, our files are quite good, and you get a phone call from the newspapers, have you got so-and-so on your files? And you know at that stage that they're dead, because you know, they're looking for the images. I quite like this one as well. It reads, fashion outlet opening here in June 2007. Never opened. The flags are now, the only things that's remaining actually are the poles. Everything else is gone. I love these little scenarios where there's our former t-shirt. Oh, sorry, Elias. There. Perfectly alright. And when they open the curtain, the little sign is all askew. And he's sneakily just trying to put it back up. And so what you're dealing with, you're dealing with moments, you're dealing with moments in time. I know this kind of one of these things that you hear all the time, you know, when you start going into the history of photography and everything. But what I'm dealing with is dealing with moments in time, with family, with community. So I don't know if any of you have gone through this stage. You're probably too young. You know the patching of eyes, have you ever? Yeah. My son went through it. I think he did it for about 4 or 5 years. And so this kind of picture just makes me smile. And I think it's just of interest to most people. See the building in the background? Those sculptures are done by Jack Behan, John Behan. He's a member of the RHA. And what they did, they recently took them down. They're bronzes, and they've kind of constituted them as such. This whole area of the square in Dundalk is now gone, and they've put the sculptures up in glass cases in the square. So again, now you look, that's only 4 years ago. So again, you're recording how your environment is changing the whole time. The funny thing about what I find is, especially in our newspapers, I don't know if it's similar here, it's where you have a section in the paper that says 10 years ago in the paper at this time, or 20 years ago. It was kind of hard. First time I saw the one 10 years ago, I said, Jesus, those are my pictures, you know. I'm that old. Now they're using the ones from 20 years ago or 25 years ago. And you go, oh, I don't know whether I should look at these at all. I quite like looking at, trying to make, especially in this area of the practice, is making pictures that will, I don't know if you've heard the term or if you've worked in newspapers much, pictures that carry pages. You know, so a nice big featurey type picture or a colour type piece to back up an event, or to carry the main being the main image in a paper. We get all the wrong stuff as well, like drug addiction and some of the estates in Dundalk. It's a big enough problem. Then we go to the religious, or the opening of a new church, a big thing within a community, whether it be Roman Catholic or Church of Ireland or whatever. Then you just, again, we're just reverting back to, you know, likes of St. Patrick's Day or something like that, where you just look for something that's unusual and just catches the eye. There's no major theme. You know, when you start going into your degree or your master's, you're on a theme, you're researching it. You know, with this you're not. You're dropped into it. So you have to use your experiences to go, that's nice, that'll carry a page, that'll get some of the sense of what was actually happening at the event. That was one of the criticisms actually Paul had of me for the MFA, was that I was too descriptive, because I spent 26 or 27 years being descriptive in my photography. He said, stand back from that. Just, you know, stand back, let it flow. Don't be trying to be too descriptive. Don't know if you know him? No?
He's a footballer, isn't he?
Yeah, Steve Staunton. He was the Irish manager. When he was announced as the Irish manager, I said to him, I said, don't be hung out to dry, because he was quite young, and within a few months he was. But that's his father. That's his father, Tom, and Tom is now dead. He died of cancer. And again, it's one of these, you know, one of these moments where you photograph something and it's important. It's something that you can revert back to. I just love this one for the silliness of it.
Oh yeah.
You know, lump out of his head and a big cheesy grin, you know. But most of the things that I like sport. And because of the way things have changed now, over the last about 5-6 years ago, I just ventured into the world of education. I asked, I'll go through it in a little bit more detail, but I tend to work mainly weekends now, photograph mainly weekends, and it's usually sport. This is one I took the other day, from very simple, like it was a kid's road race. Look at the image. Look at the anguish. You know, he was winning up until about 2 yards before I took the picture. This guy passes him, disaster, and you can just see it in the face. And this guy here as well. You know, you can see the audience or the attendants looking at him. From a very simple, from a very simple event, you can make quite lovely pictures. And that's what I enjoy about it. That's what I enjoy about the sport. This wee guy at the starting line fell over, but he finished. And the tears are just beginning to come down his face. He came in last. Then we go into the likes of, you know, the illustrations, you know, from events, and he was going for championship fight in Dublin. There's a thing called the puck fada. It's a wee bit contrasty, but it's not too bad. Have you ever heard of the puck fada? No. It's done over the Ravensdale Mountains or the Cooley Mountains, but it's kind of like golf. You have a course, except you have a hurley and a slitter, and so many shots, the least number of shots to get through the course, and they're all top hurling days.
Did on the back, mate.
Good.
I'm amazed that you managed to take something like golf and make it interesting.
It is quite interesting. But again, you're looking at, you know, you're just looking for a picture that's not, you know, hitting the ball or whatever. this one, I love these little moments in time. She doesn't even realise that, you know, the egg and spoon race, you know, the egg is just about gone. Doesn't even realise. Little moments, those little, you know, and again, it's a picture that will carry a page, it'll tell a story, and so that's what my life so far has been up until the, as I said, to the dizzy heights. This was our hurling, the loud hurling team in Crow Park, and we got slaughtered. And these are the two managers, and it just summed up the whole day. This is one I don't do it too often, coursing, and it's a 400 lens with a 1.7 converter on it, so you're about just shy of a 600. It's just the whole muscle tone and stuff like that, and again it just tells a story, and whether you like it or not is another thing. It's part of life, unfortunately. So as I kind of hinted to earlier on there, what happened when you're shooting stuff, you know, for newspapers, what tends to happen, I'm lucky, I'd get about 90-95% of my images used when I shoot them. But say the likes of, you know, Frank Miller in the Times, or any of the lads in the Indo, or anything like that. On average, even for the staff photographers with them, they get about max 10% of their images actually published. So at least I see them published.